sum of 5,500 naira payable to GT Bank account number 0561 094 161. Send payment proof to WhatsApp portal number 0901 625 2525. Go to www.bossfm.ng to complete your registration. Call 0808 237 0000 or 0811 584 1500 for more information. Niger Boss Factor Season 2. Celebrate culture, celebrate life. Terms and conditions apply.
Niger Boss Factor Season 1!
It happened last year when we had 7 finalists vying for the grand prize. M Grand 7 2021 model worth 11.5.
My name is Joel Idajile, the winner of Niger Boss Factor Season 1. I just want to say I'm so excited because, wow, this is a very big thing that has happened to me. And concerning this Season 2 that is coming, I'm just telling you, those that are going to be competing, bring in your A game. This is not something you come casually. Come with your A game, come for it. And Season 2 is up. Those of you that didn't enroll, I'm sorry, you have missed out big time. You scammed yourself. You think they were trying to scam you, but you scammed yourself. Thank you.
So, Boss FM 95.5, Abuja carry this one. Say if you sabi sing, you sabi rap. You dey cook, you sabi cook. You dey chop, you sabi chop. Any kind talent, any which one? All of them. Yeta for the Niger Boss Factor idea. You be fashion designer. You dey do storytelling. I mean, spoken words. Your own technology. You dey do TTT with wire them. I mean, a puppetry. Now so, I see you. Correct. Show your skills.
A very good afternoon. Welcome to Hills TV Africa today. I am Uduak Daniel. First, let's talk the headlines. And on the headlines, Nigerian leader congratulates French President Macron. Still on the headlines, Sankara trial resumes to discuss compensation. Also on the headlines, Uganda ups military expenditure in arms race to catch up with Kenya. And on sports, former cricket captain Graeme Smith cleared of racism. And now the news in detail. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari has warmly felicitated French President Emmanuel Macron for winning a second term in office and making history as the only sitting leader of the country to return in 2 decades. In a message, President Buhari affirmed that the iconic leadership style of the French president, who spent 6 months in Nigeria working as an intern at the French embassy in 2002, continues to inspire a new generation of leaders and interest in politics and governance, starting from his country and beyond. He noted the warmth and friendliness that has redefined Nigeria and France's relations since President Macron assumed office in 2017. Paying an official visit to Nigeria in 2018 and consistently creating lines for improved ties in economy, culture, and security, which has culminated in France-Nigeria Business Council, African Cultures Season in 2020, and the France-Africa Summit. President Buhari therefore congratulated the French president, his wife Brigitte Macron, friends and political associates on the historic feat, assuring President Macron of Nigeria's support as he continues with his advocacy of humanizing policies, promoting peace and stability, and encouraging development through innovation. Away from that story, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo said that he would be betraying Nigerians if he failed to contest for president. Osinbajo stated this in Akure, the Ondo state capital, when he visited Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu to express his intention to succeed President Muhammadu Buhari in 2023. Osinbajo disclosed that he decided to contest for the president because he had learned a lot and made many contacts both within the country and international level. He admitted he was given responsibilities by President Buhari to run the affairs of the nation as an acting president. The vice president disclosed that President Buhari only charged him to be fair and just while in charge. He therefore said the nation needed a serious service to get it out of the doldrums. According to the vice president, it's an opportunity to be called to public service. This is the most valuable thing we can add to our society. It's our privilege to be called to serve, he said. And now for some COVID-19 updates. Let's have you know that Nigeria has recorded 22 new cases of COVID-19 in 4 states, bringing the total to 255,670 in 36 states of the country, plus the FCT. According to the latest information released by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, that is the NCDC, Lagos reported 10 cases, Nasarawa 6, FCT and Rivers reported 3 cases each. A total of 249,879 persons have been discharged, and the number of deaths is 3,143. So, the number of active cases amounts to 2,648. When the news returns, news from other parts of Africa. Stay with us. Glad to have you back to Africa Today on Hills TV. A court in Guinea will rule today on whether a former prime minister and 3 ex-cabinet members charged with economic crimes will be released on bail. Ibrahim Fofana and the other top officials of the ousted government of President Alpha Condé were detained on April 6 on charges of embezzling public funds. Fofana served as prime minister from 2018 until Condé was overthrown by the military in September 2021. He and former defense minister Mohamed Diane, ex-environment minister Oye Gulivagui, and former hydrocarbons minister Diakaria Coulibaly are being held at the central prison in the capital, Conakry. Guinean military junta leader Mamadi Doumbouya vowed last week to intensify the fight against corruption, including former officials. And now let's bring some Sankara trial, update to you. A military court in Burkina Faso started a hearing this Monday on the interests of the civil parties in the case of Thomas Sankara and his 12 companions. The lawyers for the civil parties demand that the state and the accused be jointly and severely liable and obliged to compensate all the damage suffered by the families. Earlier this month, former Burkina Faso President Blaise Compaoré was sentenced to in absentia to life in prison by a military court in Ouagadougou. The Sankara family is asking for the symbolic sum of 1 franc as compensation for damages. The military court is billed to give its decision on May 10. Compaoré is currently living in exile in Ivory Coast and is an Ivorian citizen since 2016, while Thomas Sankara was seen by many as a revolutionary president and was murdered in 1987. We now move to other parts of Africa after this break. Don't go away. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Taking news from other parts of Africa, let's have you know that a Moroccan court has handed a 4-year jail sentence to an activist who offended King Mohammed IV on social media. Defense attorney Abdelmajid Azaria said Rabi' al-Ablak was sentenced to 4 years in jail for offending the king online on Monday. The trial opened on April 11 after he published online video footage criticizing social disparities and corruption, according to the lawyer who expressed shock over the judgment. The activist and citizen journalist, 35, was also fined 20,000 dirhams, about $2,000, Azaria said. According to Human Rights Watch, Al-Ablak was convicted over 2 videos posted on Facebook and YouTube in September and November last year, in which he addressed the king and compared his personal fortune to widespread poverty in Morocco. The rights regulator had urged authorities to drop the charges against Al-Ablak. Away from that, let's head on to South Sudan, where dozens of people have recently been killed in violence that includes beheadings and sexual attacks in a volatile country in South Sudan. The United Nations mission in South Sudan said Monday the mission documented 72 civilian deaths between February 17 and April 7 in Unity State's Lear County. Among the victims was a local staffer with the humanitarian group Doctors Without Borders, it said. 64 cases of sexual violence, including gang rapes, were recorded in Lear in the same period. The attacks were carried out by armed youth from the neighboring countries of Koch and Mayadit. Markets, homes, humanitarian facilities and warehouses were looted and burned down. An estimated 40,000 people have fled the violence in Lear, with thousands reportedly crossing the Nile River to shelter in another state, that statement said. The UN mission said it has deployed more peacekeepers to conduct regular patrols in Lear town. And now let's head on to Uganda. Uganda is catching up with Kenya on military spending after Nairobi cut the defense budgets for 2 years in a row, while Kampala crossed the $1 billion mark last year. Uganda's military expenditure reached $1,066 billion last year, as an 8.3% increase from $984.7 million in 2020, according to the Sweden-based Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, that is the SIPRI, an independent global security think tank. Meanwhile, Kenya's military expenditure reached $1.113 billion last year, a 0.1% drop from $1.115 billion in 2020. Uganda has tripled military spending over the last 5 years to catch up with Kenya from the $346.7 in 2017 compared to Kenya's $1.015 in the same year. Up next is business news in Africa Today. Stay with us. Welcome back to Africa Today on Hills TV. Talking business, the Small and Medium Enterprises, that is the MSMEs Development Agency of Nigeria, on Monday stated that the number of micro, small and medium enterprises across the country dropped by about 2 million between 2017 and 2021. It said the country's MSMEs reduced from about 41 million in 2017 to 39 million in 2021, as this was due to the impact of COVID-19 on other challenges on small businesses nationwide. The Director General SMEDAN, Diko Rada, disclosed this at an event organized by the Transparency Advocacy for Development Initiative in collaboration with SMEDAN in Abuja. Rada, who was represented by the Director, Planning, Research, Monitoring and Evaluation, that is SMEDAN, Wale Fashanya, said both the public and private sectors had roles to play in the sustainable development of MSMEs in Nigeria. He also noted that the contribution of the sector to Nigeria's gross domestic product, that is the GDP, dropped by 3.5% in 2021, adding that MSMEs accounted for 6.2% of external trade in the same year. Executive Director, Transparency Advocacy Development Initiative, Yomi David, said the event was organized to boost the roles of MSMEs in building capacity for national development. He therefore urged the federal government of Nigeria to upgrade SMEDAN to a commission for maximum performance. Still in the news, operators in the nation's manufacturing sector saw their combined debt to Nigeria banks rise to 4.19 trillion naira in January 2022. This is as they borrowed a sum of 1.03 trillion naira between January 2021 and January 2022. This implies that banks' credits to the sector increased by 32.79% in the one-year period from 3.16 trillion naira as of January 2021 to 4.19 trillion naira as of January this year. According to sectoral analysis of deposit money banks' credits by the Central Bank of Nigeria, the sector received the largest share of the credit from banks during the review period. The Monetary Policy Committee of the CBN noted at its latest meeting held in March that the manufacturing, purchase and managers indices remained above the 50 index points benchmark in January. The committee noted that the sustained performance in manufacturing, that is the PMI, reflects the resilience of the economy in the light of persistent headwinds to recovery. It also said that while non-manufacturing, that is the PMI, remained below the 50 index points in January, it rose slightly from 48.0 index points in December 2021 to 49.01 index points in January. The committee expressed cautious optimism that with the sustained interventions by the Apex Bank in various sectors of the economy and broad fiscal support to tame these legacy structural constraints, price development would moderate as output growth improves. Heading on to Zambia, let's have you know that Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema has thanked China for coming on board to commit and join other creditors in the International Monetary Fund, that is the IMF, Zambia debt restructuring process. Speaking during the first conference in Lusaka, the government said it will be difficult to record sustainable economic development with the current debt levels. He said that to this effect, Zambia has recorded progress with a debt restructuring program which is targeted at restoring and reviving the country's economy. Hichilema added that contrary to assertions by some sectors of the society that he was ignoring China in the IMF negotiation process, he personally engaged China and was proud to announce that China is now part of the Common Framework Committee. The head of state explained that within the 8 months that the United Party for National Development, that is the UPND, has been in office, Zambia is on course with the debt restructuring, adding that all the required components have already been put in place. Still to come on Africa Today is sports. Stay with us.
My name is Joel Idajile, the winner of Naija Boss Factor Season 1. I just want to say I'm so excited because, wow, this is a very big thing that has happened to me. And concerning this Season 2 that is coming, I'm just telling you, those that are going to be competing, bring in your A game. This is not something you come casually. Come with your A game, come for it. And Season 2 is up. Those of you that didn't enroll, I'm sorry, you have missed.
Good afternoon and welcome to Sports News on Africa Today. I'm Richard Badung. On sports, 4 games were decided on Monday in continuation of Match Day 25 of the Nigerian Professional Football League, that is NPFL encounters, spread through the week. The fixtures commenced Monday with 3 games and ended in victories for home teams except in Kaduna, where Heartland squeezed a draw against Wiki Tourist of Bauchi. Pick of the matches were the ones involving title-chasing Rivers United and Plateau United, where both teams recorded victories. While Rivers had its rosy against Niger Tornadoes and Port Harcourt, the Jos-based team labored to claim the match points against Continental hopefuls Remo Stars. League top scorer Ishak Kayode put Rivers United in front a minute after the hour mark, as he finished off a pass through Maurice Chukwu with a chip over Lucky Jimo. The home side then doubled their lead 2 minutes later as Iwagwa Inyama tapped in a low cross from Chijoke Akuneto, following a spill by Tornadoes goalkeeper in the box. With 10 minutes left, substitute Conan Rofin Ngwan put the icing on the cake for the leaders as the stabbed home Rivers thawed after he was released by Nelson Esau in Tornado's box. The victory meant Rivers retained their top position on the log with 55 points after 25 league games. Now on to cricket, where former South Africa cricket captain Graeme Smith was cleared of racism allegations on Monday by an independent investigation that looked into claims that he used his influence to ensure a black player wasn't selected while leading the team a decade ago. Smith had also been accused of being racially biased against black colleagues in his role as South Africa's director of cricket after he retired from playing. And the third allegation was made against him that he was guilty of unfair racial discrimination when in his role as director of cricket, he appointed former teammate Mark Boucher, who is white, as head of South Africa in 2019 ahead of another coach, Enoch Nkwe, who is black. The accusations were made late last year in a report that emanated from a series of hearings designed to look into the culture of South African cricket as far back as the 1990s to establish if there was racism. 2 independent lawyers ruled on the allegations and found no evidence of racism against Smith. With regard to the accusations against Smith while he was captain of the team, the investigation found that he had opposed the selection of black player Thiami Thakile from South Africa from 2012 to 2014, but it was not proved he did so by reason of Selekile's race. The South African Cricket Federation had pursued the allegations and was ordered to pay Smith's legal costs. Now back to football. Algeria head coach Jamal Belhadi has said that he will not leave his post with the national team and instead remain in charge of their qualifying campaign for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON, which will be held in Ivory Coast. Belhadi had come under mounting criticism following a disastrous defense of their 2019 AFCON title. At the 2021 edition of the tournament in Cameroon earlier this year, Algeria finished bottom of Group E, having taken just 1 point from 3 matches. Looking ahead to the 2023 tournament, Belhadi said they are in qualifying Group C along with Uganda, Tanzania, Nigeria, while claiming that there are no small teams in Africa as they aims for the top final spot in Ivory Coast come 2023. The Algerian coach urged players who wanted to join the team to come up with a fighting spirit as former Argentines did years ago. And that's your sport news on Africa Today. Back to Udwak Daniel for the rest of the news. I'm Richard Badung. Thank you.
It happened last year when we had 7 finalists vying for the grand prize, M Grand 7 2021 model worth 11.5 million naira.
For the winner, season 1, Niger Boss Battle, John Igachole!
This year, it is even bigger and better.
My name is Joel Idajile, the winner of Naija Boss Factor Season 1. Those of you that didn't enroll, I'm sorry, you have missed out big time. You scammed yourself. You think they were trying to scam you.
Register for the Naija Boss Factor Season 2 with the sum of 5,500 naira payable to GT Bank account number 0561 094 161. Send payment proof to WhatsApp portal number 0901 625 2525. Go to www.bossfm.ng to complete your registration. Call 0808 237 0000 or 0811 584 1500 for more information. Naija Boss Factor.
Many thanks, Richard Badung, for that one on sports. Still in the news, Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari has condoled with family of former Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Alabo Tonye Graham Douglas, who passed away on Monday, 25th April 2022. President Buhari, in a message, sympathized with government and people of Rivers State over the loss of the political stalwart, Democrat and administrator who served differently as Minister of Aviation, Minister of Labor and Productivity, and Minister of Tourism, leaving a legacy of distinguished service to the nation. The president noted the historic roles Alabo Graham Douglas played in promoting democratic rule and a liberal culture, joining well-meaning Nigerians and global leaders to stand and speak for justice and fairness. While promoting grassroots development amongst his people, the president believes he will be remembered by posterity and prayed that the Almighty God will grant his soul a peaceful rest and comfort his family. And that's Africa Today. But before we go, here are the headlines again. We told you that Nigerian leader congratulates French President Macron. We also told you Sankara trial resumes to discuss compensation. We brought in the news earlier on, Uganda ups military expenditure in arms race to catch up with Kenya. And on sports, we told you former cricket captain Graeme Smith cleared of racism. Remember to visit us on Facebook at Hills TV, Instagram at Hills TV. Our YouTube channel is at Hills TV. I am Udwak Daniel. Thank you for watching.